So I brought you out here so I could show you. Remember we made char cloth a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Alright, so we're going to take this char cloth right now. See that char cloth?
Yeah.
I'm going to take the lid off my Hudson Bay Tin. We're going to use this magnifying glass and we're going to light it on fire right now. So just keep holding that camera right there. Let me see if I can get this lined up with the sun. Okay, I got light, focus, I got smolder, I got sparker. I mean, I already got it. It's already on fire. Alright, so that magnifying glass, I cover up like that, and then we're all set. But that's how you can make fire from the sun using a magnifying glass and the charred cloth that we made a couple weeks ago. And it didn't burn it all up, so I can still use this. I can make another fire again right now. Watch. Here, just keep watching. Let me get it on there. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see it? It caught fire again already. It's all going up in flame right now. You see it? Can you see it?
Yes.
See, it's on fire right now. See it? Ow.
What? You got burned?
No, not very much. It doesn't get hot on the edges. That's why you can pick it up. All right, that's a good lesson. You're going to the park. I got a vlog to shoot. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, welcome back. Today's a cold and chilly day in the New England outdoors, but it is bright and sunny. So we're gonna make some coffee. We're gonna go over clips from the last week, which was Autonomy Season 6 graduation, and we're gonna try to affect the lighting of this fire with solar ignition from magnifying glass and char cloth that we made a couple weeks ago. Hang out, learn how to make fire, learn how to make your offer to the world. We'll be right back with more. There's a lot of similarities between making your offer to the world and making a fire. In order to make a fire, you need some tinder, you need some fuel, you need some oxygen, and you need some spark, right? And to make your offer to the world, you're gonna need to be able to sense opportunity, bring your skills to bear, introduce those skills, intersect them with the spark, and breathe some oxygen into the situation with integrity that's doing what you said you would do when you said you would do it. So if you know how to make a fire, you should also know how to make your offer to the world so you can get paid. Whether it's having a job or making an offer through product or service to the market as an entrepreneur. You have to do one or the other to live. Just like fire is the most important outdoor skill you need to have, because from everything else, you can build shelter, you can make tools, but you need to be able to keep your climate warm, right? We're mammals. We also are living in a capitalistic world. So if you are gonna have private property and seek to prevail in a sense of freedom, you're going to need to know how to interoperate with others in a voluntary way where you offer massive value in exchange for some sort of currency, even if it's agorism, thing for thing, barter and trade. These are necessary skills to live, and to understand the fire mechanism is to also understand how you make your offer to the world known and take it to the market. That's what marketing is, taking your offer to the market so people can take you up on your offer. You should know how to do both, and people who know how to do one can easily learn how to do another. Now let's kick it off with last week's Do It Live podcast. You're going to see Autonomy graduates in the midst of getting their public speaking on, practicing live stream broadcasting. It's a nuanced science, it's an art form, you got to bring it all together. It's thinking on the fly, it's planning ahead, it's dealing with tech gremlins all at the same time. It's a fantastic skill set that we offer to Autonomy students as part of their membership and part of their enrollment in the University of Reason. It's a Saturday afternoon event. Let's check it out. I'll be right back with more fire making skills.
Welcome, everyone. This is the season 6 grand finale Do It Live podcast. It's been an incredible season. Last night we had our graduation lecture, very heartfelt and inspiring to see a new wave of season 6 graduates making their way to the finish line. I've been very blessed to have seen the progression of all 6 seasons from the beginning to where we are now. And it's a real pleasure to see how streamlined it is and everyone's like rapid advancement into bringing autonomy into their lives. My co-host today is Christopher McMillan. He's going to be helping me out with recapping this last season. Chris, how are you doing today?
Hey, everybody. Great to be here. Chris McMillan. I was the shadow host for season 6. It was an honor. It was a pleasure. It was a learning experience. And today I really want to get people's feedback on breakthroughs, moments, obstacles overcome, etc., etc. So yeah, thanks a lot, Joshua. Good times doing it live.
Now, Chris, I'm going to put the spotlight on you first because you stepped up. You volunteered to be the shadow host for this season's lectures. How was that starting off? Any bumps along the road that you hit? And then how did it feel getting to the finish line last night in graduation?
There were a few bumps along the road. Sometimes there was the occasional technical hiccup, not as bad as I thought it would be. I had some trouble, unexpected trouble, and some trouble that I predicted, but overall it was smooth sailing. I think the most challenging thing was just easily overcome with good old cup of coffee. That was being able to stay up till 3 in the morning, and as long as you're psyched for it, it's not that bad. So just being able to play the clips for Richard and just to be there, and most importantly, to be able to get to know the students as we go through. And I'm looking forward to getting to know them even further by now that the season has ended and we're going to start kicking off doing the graduation interviews. A lot of the students I have yet to speak to on a one-on-one basis. Some I have, but still many I haven't. So this will be also a great opportunity for me to step up and really get to know a lot of the students. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
All right, now let's go on a walk and gather some tinder for this fire. We're going to need some little stuff, some medium stuff, some larger stuff. We'll boil up the coffee, but we need the right materials to make a fire from, the sunshine, and there's about 1-2 hours left of daylight, so I didn't do this at noon. This is the high time of winter, and we're going to see if we can make fire from a magnifying glass. See, even on frozen days. Here's deer trail right here. All this mud is frozen with their prints. Ow. This is shag hickory. Let me get some of this bark. I drive down over the blade until I get it in, and then I drive down. This is why you want your knife longer than the tinder you intend to process. I tend to use not just back against the handle, because I use that for other things. So I use this specific part of the blade right here. Processing small wood at the campsite without swinging sharp objects. Should be good.
Yeah, the coming weeks are going to be great.
It's just an example of how Autonomy Unlimited lives up to its name. Unlimited, right?
Yeah.
Opportunities unlimited. They just keep presenting themselves.
Chris, did you edit video before you got into this course?
No, that was something completely new to me, was video editing. Even up to the time, do you remember when we did the roundtable discussion with Corbett and Richard Gage and yourself about 9/11? I remember specifically at that time, Richard Gage asked me, he goes, "Oh, dude, I didn't want to mention that guy's name. Can you edit it out?" And that was, and then you guys were like, "Oh, you go ahead and do it." And I had it's the simplest operation from a video editing point of view. I had no idea how to do it, and I was messing it up. In the end, you guys had to do it for me. But then that was the key moment there. I said, well, I got to learn this. So I downloaded an editor, started doing the tutorials, started listening to the tutorials by Tyler and the guys in Autonomy. And that's how that started. So video editing is definitely one of the many skills that I've learned since all this began that has made a huge difference for me, because now I can create my own material. I can make my own whatever videos I want just because I can, and put it out there, add the affiliate link of whatever is being talked about or associated with. And I can do that anytime I want. So video editing skills, I had none. I'd never even heard, wasn't even on my radar. I hadn't even heard of it. Didn't know how important it was. Something I took for granted. You see something that looks good, you don't think about what goes on behind the scenes and the effort that goes into it. So there.
Chris, you didn't know, so you came into the course, you learned how to do an interview, and from that you made your own podcast, but that's not stuff that really pays for itself. That's like hobby. That's fun. It's invigorating. But then you started doing the video clips and the editing, and that stuff you actually started to get paid for. So what's the difference? Yeah. What's the difference between knowing how to do the one thing and not, like, you needed to know how to edit in order to do your interviews anyway, right?
Exactly. So I learned how to build a web page, and now mainly affiliate marketing kicks in. So the interviews and all that was just, it's something I wanted to do. Truthconduit.com was building a base to have a platform. And now that I've got my own platform, the opportunity is there to add value and that's where all the skills kick in. And there's a lot of overlap with my website and Autonomy, of course. If you look at my website, it's all Autonomy. So
well, and then you took it upon yourself to shadow host. You didn't really know how to shadow host before this season, but that didn't stop you from learning, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I remember. What was it? Before all this kicked off, Joshua asked me to step in with Benny Wills one day, and I screwed it all up. Benny, I think it was his final class as well, and he's like, "All right, play it, Chris." And of course, nothing was happening, and I was thinking, "Yes, failing my way forward." Sorry, Benny.
That's good. I recommended you for that job. I'm glad you failed on the fly, and you were able to get up and get it done.
A great ride. It's been life-changing, really.
This is going to be my bird's nest material right here. It's going to be my other tinder fire starter right there. I got some more of this. I got some sticks for when the fire catches. We bring it on like this. I'm just going to process this up. This is grass. It's been raining the past couple days. It's been frozen. Right now it's probably about 30, 32 degrees. We're gonna put some of that right there. We're gonna break all this good stuff up all over this. Get it all in there, all this good fire making. Fire wants to eat this stuff type thing. We want clear access to the bird's nest. We're gonna put our char cloth in there after we get solar ignition, if all goes well. Can't promise on these things. But we can try again if we fail. All right, so I got enough. We're just making coffee, so I don't need that much for this. But what I do need is I need a piece of char cloth. I'm gonna get that, not out of my fire kit, but this is my recreational fire kit. It's a Hudson Bay Tin. I got flint, I got steel. I could use this as a bow drill handhold, the force down part, fulcrum, some char cloth, and that's what we're going to use. We're going to use a little piece of this jute twine. I got some magnesium shavings in here if I want to use a ferro rod. But let's just work with a piece of char cloth and a little piece of jute twine that I'll open up. And we'll get the rest of this stuff out of here, and we'll see if we can make fire from the sun. Fire from the sun. All right, so what I'm going to do, my char cloth's in there. I don't want it to blow around. Put my tin cover on for a second. I'm going to open up this twine, get all the little fibers exposed. It doesn't really, I mean, if you want to keep it, a little bit of it so it'll smolder longer, but you want it to catch. So I'm just going to tease these all up here at the end like that. And once our char cloth starts to burn, we're going to get our jute twine to burn, and then we're going to put it into our bird's nest. All right, so those will be the 3 steps. We're going to light it in the tin, get this to catch, put this into the bird's nest, and the bird's nest is kind of falling apart. It's a sub-optimal bird's nest. I did it on the fly for you guys. Let's see if we can do it with suboptimal. I'm going to put the jute twine in there. I'm going to move the cameras. I'm going to ignite it right here in the bright sun with you, and I'll leave this other camera there for continuity. All right, so the sun is moving all the time. It moves slowly. If you wait 10 minutes, it's going to be a different spot than you thought of before you. All right, so I got this one piece of char cloth. It's in this jute twine. I got an extra piece if I need to try again. And we're going to focus with this magnifying glass the sun onto here, and then we're going to transport this ember into the fire right there. Can I get this in the sun right here though? Let's move it right. Now we're dealing with sun through a tree right now. I could walk to the clearing over here. Let's see what we can do. Hopefully this is on camera. I got a point. It's going to take a little bit longer. The sun's not as potent, but if I hold it still in the same place, we're going to get it to light. Now if you do this at high noon, you get this light in a few seconds. I wanted to see what's the minimal amount of light, and I decided to wait till now to start trying it. Alright, let's go to the sunshine then. There you go. See the smoke? I got fire already. I can smell the jute twine. It's all on fire. Now I'm going to keep hitting it because I want this fire to transport to my bird's nest. That's the difference walking 10 feet away from your campfire can make. Alright, we're getting this pretty good. It's smoldering. It's smoldering. First off, get your wool gloves off. Smoldering though, see? All right, we got fire going. Let's go over here and get ourselves a grill. We have a grill in this bag. What do you think? Look at that grill. We're gonna set this grill up, and we're gonna make coffee on the fire. We're gonna get some coals going first. Right now we got fire going. That's nice. We're gonna fold out the grill, put the grill over the coals. All right, so I could wait for the coals and put that grill top in there flat so that I might set my bottle of water on top of that, but I didn't want to do that, so I just put the bottle of water in the fire because it's stainless steel, and that's a new canteen set. It needed to be broken in anyway, so we're making our cowboy coffee in the fire this week, as well as solar ignition. Yeah, so we're waiting for water to boil. That takes a little time, and while we're waiting for the water to boil to make the rest of the coffee, let's go ahead and check out a clip from Autonomy, Season 6, Week 12. It's graduation. So the rest of the clips, mostly for this episode, are going to be graduation clips. You're going to hear from people who just spent 12 intensive weeks of self-change, learning to get to know themselves, their environment, and each other, with powerful entrepreneurial and interpersonal skill sets being learned at the same time as the curriculum and the exercises and all that goes on. So let's listen to a couple of graduates and their expressions of gratitude for themselves for not quitting. Because that's when I know you'll be successful, when you know you won't quit on yourself.
Another Season 6 student saw that time was an issue upon joining Autonomy as well, and I asked her about it and caught this video.
I have to say, I was surprised that it wasn't as much of a time commitment as I was fearing. That was one of the things that held me back at first from joining, but it turns out that you can commit as much time as you want. You can watch the replays if you didn't have time or couldn't sit through the whole thing. And I found that I've been really excited once those live lectures and Q&A sessions start. Just really amped up and excited to do it. And it's just exciting to be working on myself, communicating with other people who are in a similar place in life where they're looking for success and they're trying to figure out what's held them back. And the community aspect is just probably the best thing about it, because as I speak with all this rich variety of people and their skills and where they're coming from, it's added a lot of value to my thought process as I'm planning my own future projects and business. The resources that Richard shares and that are shared with us throughout the course they seem to be perfect for me, like they were planned for me. So I feel like just in the first few weeks, I've improved my mindset and my motivation in terms of going after my goals, as well as clarified what those goals are. And my why, my reason, that really gets me to keep going and waking up every day wanting to be successful.
So that's a fantastic video that was produced by Woody, who is a Season 5 student. He's not on the call right now, but Stephanie, are you able to come online and come on camera and share a little bit about your experience this last season, your first season?
Yeah, definitely. So I was, up until this week, I was sad the season was ending. It's been that impactful for my life. So I was really happy to hear that there's just more to come, and kind of have been visualizing how I can put this to use in my life even more, and kind of want to model it after what Kara's done. I've been able to kind of put Autonomy's focus into use in two separate aspects of my life. So I've been working for Autonomy Unlimited, started out copywriting, now have moved to media relations. And the other aspect that I plan to do is with my homeschooling focus. I'm a trained teacher. And then when the pandemic started, I was, unable to work in the public schools. So I've been learning more about being a parent educator. And I've got all these ideas that I want to share with other parent educators. So maybe creating my own course or some sort of offering to take to the market there. So yeah, in the meantime, I'm experiencing already that my life has completely leveled up, and it's mainly because of the community that I mentioned, just being in almost daily conversations with the other community members in Autonomy has just opened up my mindset. And going to the lectures, you just learn so much information that you can put to use either immediately or just kind of expand your dreams.
Well, it's been fantastic to see how much you've grown in this first season of joining Autonomy. I saw your potential. We found each other through the Freedom Cell Network, and Stephanie, turns out she lives like 15 miles away from me. And we started meeting and kind of working on our mutual aid groups. But I saw, untapped potential. And so I told Stephanie about Autonomy and had her go through the obstacle course, check it out. I think she got halfway through, and then the doubt started to creep in about how you just didn't think you had enough time to be able to take on this large, extensive course.
Right. So at the time, I was taking children into the home as like a little homeschool pod. And I just didn't see, I had that scarcity mindset of this is going to be an extra thing to add, But now what I'm seeing is that it's a way to escape from that time constraint and bring my offer from myself to many.
And I'm especially excited about this because I have a 3-year-old, and I've been looking for some sort of tutor to be able to, privately teach my daughter, and possibly like a pod that she's a part of. And so I saw Stephanie as kind of the perfect fit for that, but I wanted Stephanie to have the resources and the methods and educational frameworks that you're able to get access to in the University of Reason by going through Autonomy. And so to hear her say yes, and that she was interested in doing this, it's checking off some really big goals and projects in my life to be able to take care of my family, surround myself with people that have autonomy in their lives. And now, being able to teach the next generation is like one of my biggest priorities of being able to set that up and be able to take care of her.
I'm really glad that I did end up saying yes, because before that, I was kind of more of this, employee mentality. I just didn't see the options in front of me in terms of digital marketing. So it's completely opened up my world. So thank you.
Awesome. So Stephanie had a journalism background. She was academically trained in that. And I saw an opportunity in our marketing agency of a role that needed to be filled of doing press releases and now what we're calling media relations, where Stephanie can contact and reach out on behalf of content creators, influencers, and people with businesses and projects to be able to get them onto podcasts, to be able to get them onto speaking engagements. And I set her up with an opportunity. She picked up the ball, ran with it, scored a touchdown there. And now she's just refining her process and being able to help more and more people, ideally in the Liberty community.
Water bottles getting burned in. Good. I got a couple of those Pathfinder canteen sets. They're really useful. This is not a sponsorship. I pay full price for everything I have. But that water's going to boil soon, and we'll have some coffee. All right, so we're waiting for the water to boil. I wanted to show you guys a couple other things. In that same kit that I had the magnifying glass, it's a Hudson Bay Tin. It's what trappers used to carry in the 1800s. And in there, they would probably use that for smoking tobacco, the magnifying lens, because it's indispensable, you know, reusable fire from the sky. That's the type of thing. They wouldn't waste necessarily their good fire-making materials on lighting a pipe. So magnifying glass has its certain applications, but flint and steel works in pretty much any weather. And here we go. I'm throwing sparks, you see? So if I held my char cloth right here, I could pick up the spark right away. Sparks, 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 sparks all day, flint. Now, let's say I lost that fancy piece. Well, I got my knife. And if my knife is made out of the right steel, let's see. Oh, little tiny ones. This is supposed to be 1095 carbon steel. This is the test, right? So maybe I want more than my $12 old hickory butcher knife if I'm in a real survival situation. Though technically that should be able to throw sparks, just not as easily as something like this. And a ferrocerium rod like I used in the first vlog, that would do it even more copiously, right? Like here's flint and steel. Where's my pack? I reached for it like I was wearing it because I'm supposed to be wearing it. And if I take this off of here, flint and steel really can't compare to, see that? See the difference? Right? Sparks all over the place, don't catch fire. All right, so flint and steel, practical, old school, old world technology, works without electricity, works in the worst of conditions. Ferrocerium rod, better. I keep a little vial of shaved magnesium attached, so if I really needed to light some wet tinder, this is giving me a lot more continuous sparkage than just this, but it only lights with this. Magnesium needs like 3,000 to 5,000 degree spark for it to kind of catch fire, and that's the same with this rod, like that, right? So flint and steel, you can use this with the charred cloth. That's the easiest. Charred chaga, like we made in the first vlog. These are ways that you could actually get her done in the outdoors. I'm about to go get that coffee. It looks like the water's boiling. And we'll mix it up. Let's check out one more clip here from AUTONOMY Season 6, Week 12 graduation. Thank you to everyone who just graduated. I know you guys are all fans of the vlog. And let's hear some more brilliance in action.
Take a little bit of a breather. Not really a break for myself or Richard, but it's time to spend some time with the family, much deserved. And then I'm going to be focusing on going over reports and for Autonomy Limited and examining where our strengths were this last year. Autonomy Limited has been a ever expanding marketing agency where we literally like doubled our efforts and our revenue this last season. I've learned revenue is not the same thing as profit. So we're learning as we grow of how to be able to maintain this ever-growing agency. But the people that we've been able to help has been just uncountable because of how many projects come our way and us being able to help out clients and students be able to get their tech stack in line and being able to also apply that all those skills to Richard Grove and his production. As you know, he can produce content like none other all week long, but then what do we do with that? He was just one man before all of this, and trying to not only capture content, but then distribute it is a huge ordeal. And I've been really proud to be a part of the aligning of the train cars so that we can get this whole thing moving. So, I
mean, let's face it, just following Richard when he gets up in the morning with his messed up hair, making a cup of coffee, if you put that on YouTube, it would get thousands and thousands of hits just because he's Richard, right?
Right. And he actually did just film a clip of him making coffee, some cowboy coffee out in the woods. And another huge production is Grand Theft World. And I got a clip right here of our new promotion for Grand Theft World. Behind the scenes, I flew out to Hartford, surprised him for his birthday. We also got some admin work done. When I went and visited him, I was able to capture some content of Grand Theft World right before it started, of Richard talking about Grand Theft World and why it is important for this work to get out there. So let's check this out.
What makes the Grand Theft World podcast unique, invigorating, exciting, and informative? Most other podcasts out there are either doing straight up interviews or they're just covering the daily news. They're covering current events from the day they happened. And that is effective. It's useful. It's a great starting point. And then sometimes these current events change during the week past the first story. So we like to give it a little time. You have to wait till some of the dust settles on these stories in order to give them accurate coverage. And the other thing that's really missing in the media landscape is covering the articles that are coming out every day. That's great. That's necessary. But who's bringing in contextual history so that you can understand what has been going on for decades and decades to lead up to the machinations and actions that we see unfolding today? So what we do here on the podcast is we cover current events. Many of these things are censored, but we wait about a week. As a forensic historian, I focused mainly through my career on the history of globalism and collectivism and things that they call maybe the New World Order. There's a lot of facts to these sort of circumstances, groups, events, activities, working groups that they've had over time. So for Grand Theft World listeners, we not only break down the current events, most of which that are censored during the week, we provide you with contextual history, we give you the source notes, the references, we do deep dives, and this really empowers you with an understanding of context and history so that you can make more informed decisions in your life. There's also a community, a membership where you guys can actually ask questions and we can get into the show and we can share evidence. And there's a town hall weekly for Grand Theft World for those who listen to it and are interested in covering the stories that we don't get to during a 6-hour show. Listening to it an hour a day, you could easily consume the week's news, but you're going to have substance and meaning and context and understanding. And with that, you can make higher quality decisions in your life. So if you're interested in more quality in your life, go to grandtheftworld.com, click podcast at the top, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
So Grand Theft World is so important because not only is Richard capturing the current events and organizing it so that we can make sense of it and not just getting hit by all this random news propaganda, but giving it contextual history, as he said, to really have a deeper understanding of that. Now, because you guys have gone through autonomy and you are understanding funnels and how to make an offer and put an offer out there, Grand Theft World is very important because it's problem focused. Each week, Tony and Richard are highlighting what the problems are with the world so that we can correctly identify the situation we're in. And then people learn about autonomy afterwards. It's very difficult to lead with a solution and try to get credit and build rapport with people when you're out here with a bullhorn saying, I got this great solution. I got this great solution. They have to understand the problem before they can understand the solution for it. So Grand Theft World, we really got going this last season of promoting that out there because we're getting a very excellent stream of traffic coming in from the Grand Theft World podcast. And now we're positioning autonomy as a solution for the centralization issue that we're all experiencing. Has anybody on the call came into autonomy through Grand Theft World and first learned about it that way? I'd love to hear about your experience.
I did technically. I first heard about Grand Theft World through, I think it was the Greater Reset conference, and then I heard about autonomy through Grand Theft World. So yeah, I actually was originally just trying to sign up for the Grand Theft World community so I could get access to that community because community stuff was what I had been looking for quite a while. And then I kind of went further and found autonomy, and I had thought that, maybe that'd be a good thing for me.
Ryan, what led you to Grand Theft World?
The Greater Reset conference. Like I said, Richard gave a talk there, and I had seen it. And I'm like, oh, I'll check this out. So I've seen every single Grand Theft World right from all the way through, right from when it started. So, that was kind of how that happened.
Excellent. So that was, now that you've gone through autonomy and know about marketing funnels, that was our initial purpose of getting Richard onto that the Greater Reset multi-day event, because he had a solution, and we created this avenue for people to take one step closer, verifying the expertise of Richard, and then learning about the community aspect. And each step of the way, I hoped, Ryan, that you experience, more value being offered, low commitment level to be experiencing that. And then you got to join Autonomy. And how's your experience been now that you're 12 weeks deep from the beginning to end?
It's pretty good. I've ended up applying most of the stuff in Autonomy, like outside of Autonomy rather than in the dojo rooms. So, I mean, in a sense, that's sort of always been how I've been. I just sort of, if I want something to happen, then I just sort of go do it. As I've learned, I guess I'm one of the very rare Ruby types that get in here. From what I understand, you guys say it's like mostly emeralds and what is it, sapphires or pearls or whatever it is. The bird one works better for me. So which is probably why that was also explained for the personality types. So in terms of 12 weeks deep, I mean, I've been involved in a lot of stuff that I've built on my own. I've got involved in some other people's groups, and it's been really great. Like the community aspect of people who are actually doing stuff is what I've been looking for quite a while. In fact, I wanted to build something like this myself like 10 years ago, but certain things in my life kind of made that a bit of an impossibility. So I'm glad it's happening now.
Are you talking about building community, things like that, Ryan?
Yeah, I wanted to, 10 years ago, at least, I wanted to be putting together a group of people who would actually get stuff done. That was the biggest thing I wanted to do, because I saw all this stuff coming like a mile away.
Yeah, so you saw the clouds on the horizon gathering long before a lot of other people did.
And I was like, all right, well, I know that the only thing that's actually going to matter with this is actual on the ground effort to, build stuff. That's the only thing that's ever going to change any of this. So I wanted to put that together. And basically, I just wasn't in a position where that was possible. So now that I am, of course, my first thing was to go and find a community who's doing that. And that's how I found the Grand Theft World stuff and et cetera, et cetera. So as soon as I heard there's this guy, and I knew of Richard Grove before this quite a lot. Like I've known of Tragedy and Hope, of the podcast, and I've known of these things. I've just never really gone and listened to a lot of them. But basically when I heard this guy's putting together a think tank, well, that sounds like exactly what I was going to do. So I'll just go join that. And yeah.
Ryan, can you specify something specific you've picked up in Autonomy that you probably may not have had before that you've applied to what you're doing now?
Probably the biggest thing is that I no longer see email lead magnet marketing as like the single definitive scummy thing you can possibly do, that I actually would have completely avoided doing, because I've encountered it before, and I always will look at it as going, okay, I get that you're just trying to get my information, and I'd look at their various ebooks or whatever people would offer and go, this really isn't worth this isn't worth what I know you're going to be making off of my information, or how you could use it. But because of how that concept can be modified, and how I learned about some of that via Autonomy, now I see that there's ways to do it that are a bit better.
I made that comment about my knife not throwing sparks like it should. 1095 steel, carbon steel, high carbon steel, not throwing sparks. But I do have a ferro rod just on the sheath of the knife, so that compensates for the $12 knife in this sheath. I forgot about that, so I thought I'd tell you that I already did have a plan in place to make that happen, should I be down to just my knife to start a fire. As long as I got my sheath, I'm good. All right, so I got my coffee in here. I'm gonna try one of these little 1 cup. I was gonna use my bandana, to strain out the coffee. And I thought, no, I have filters in my pack because I'm a civilized human being. Let's try this out. Hot, hot, hot. Now, the question is, can I pour slowly enough through here while holding this without spilling on myself and burning myself or getting it all over this table? So let's, sometimes I drink it with the grounds in it, but I was just trying to see if being civilized works. Like I said, I could have used my bandana, I could have used my chamois that's around my neck, keeping my neck warm, but I have coffee filters. And woo, hot, hot. You'd be surprised how hot things are coming off a fire like that. All right, done. Ready for coffee. All right, so the way I got that ignition to get the solar fire was Hudson Bay Tin. This is what I was talking about the trappers used to carry with them back in the day. It's got a little brass lid over the magnifying glass, and with that you could send light through it if it's not on there. Woo. Or if it's on there, you're safe. You keep some char inside. Let's put the stuff back in there that I had earlier. Extra piece of jute twine. Extra piece of jute twine, magnesium shavings, and I think that was it, aside from my steel, my flint, and I'll replace the char cloth in there. I got other char cloth and other parts of my kit, and let's put this in there so it fits like that. I'm gonna put this back in my belt pouch. What else is in my belt pouch? That's a good question. I have a pencil and I have some orange trail tape so I can mark trail. I have some duct tape on that pencil in case I need to start fire. I have a pocket knife, I have a whistle, a couple other little things should I lose my way and not have my haversack. So that's how that works. All right, let's test this coffee. Could be stronger. I think I'll have to measure out my water next time. All right, so thus far we've seen a couple different graduates from Autonomy Season 6. We just passed our 500th enrollment, so over 6 seasons now 500 students have passed through the course in various stages. A lot of students take it more than once. It's lifetime enrollment. We encourage people who go through. Everyone's at a different pace. Some people blow through and by the end of season 1 they've got their offer, they're ready to make their moves. Other people need more than 1 season to grow their network, to up their confidence through the exercises and the other things that we do throughout the course. So let's check out one more clip and then we'll wrap it up and we'll look at some Grand Theft World from last week as well.
Let us know how this season's been for you. Is this your first season in Autonomy?
No, I came late into season 5. This is the first season that I claimed as my own.
Nice.
And in season 5, I joined in week 9, and it was like I was a deer in headlights. It was just a lot. They say drinking through a fire hose. It was exactly that. And so this season, my breakthrough actually came when I actually did a Do It Live with Thomas. He asked me to do like a backup scenario where if his internet went down or something happened with this Do It Live, he did an incredible Do It Live where he took Grand Theft World clips and put them in such a presentation. It was almost like a perfect presentation with a theme. And I was just so thrilled to be part of that. I came through Benny Will's class, Parhesia, just to be able to speak and really speak my mind in the Q&A and actually participate in these sessions. And throwing myself into that Do It Live with, not with Thomas, where he gave such an incredible presentation, I could just be free to and relaxed to speak my mind. Even a book came up that I was reading. I got to actually focus in on a passage of the book that gave value to the conversation at the time. It was absolutely supercharging for me. It's when everything kind of clicked. It's when I started to really participate. I jumped into the blueprint calls. It was an amazing, amazing experience. So if you're in season 7 or you're about to come into autonomy, do the Do It Lives and just put yourself out there in that format. If you do it in a panel, if you co-host, if you don't have time, just do it as a side, co-host. It was just an amazing experience for me.
I think you just answered my question, James, but what would you say has been your biggest takeaway from season 6?
My biggest takeaway was the sales and the way to actually actively listen and talk to people in a different way than I'm used to. In my work life and out here, where I am, you don't get that type of communication with people.
How would you define the art of sales now?
The art of sales is actively adding value and seeking to understand what the customer wants, what's who you're talking to, what they want. It's not about giving them something that you have pre-programmed for them. It's more about asking them how you can fit and service what they need. And if they don't need that, then you give them to somebody else and feel free. It's more about the networking and the contact and constantly sifting through those who really can take value from what you're offering and how you can mold your product or your service to what the market wants.
I don't know, man. I prefer the jerky boy style of sales, Hey, you buy this car or I'll smash your head through the windshield, man. Maybe I still have a lot to learn.
That's spot on, James. And did I hear, were you part of the accountability coaching that was going on this season?
I am. I have Jennifer. We have our second session on Tuesday, in fact.
Ah, fantastic. I'd love to hear.
It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good.
So this season we started a beta program and it was only available to a select few, but we now have accountability coaches that are putting structure and methods into place. And we're going to be able to offer this for the season 7 students that purchase the advanced package or higher, and you'll be able to get your own accountability coach. And James, how do you see this making progress in your life?
With the accountability coach?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't have anything. I couldn't choose anything. I had goals that I wanted to sort of do, and I had a list of things I wanted to do. But now I'm actually going out and buying the tool sets I'm going to need to focus on 1 or 2 goals and then whittle that down in the coming months. And so I can't wait. She's really good at providing the tools to put me through the fog, basically. Bring me through the fog of just having too much overwhelm, because I've got a lot of life. It's hard to whittle things down. So she's already, I can tell she's the one to go with. So I'm really happy. That's a great feature this year. I'm so happy that happened.
Oh, fantastic. It feels really good to hear that. It's been an idea of Richard. He knew it was a missing component or one that would greatly accelerate anyone's progress in getting autonomy for themselves. And so I'm really glad to hear you're getting results so quickly. It was just like a pebble that needed to get out of the wheel's way, huh? So that you can gain some momentum and get going.
Right. That's exactly right.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, James, for sharing your experience.
Still hot enough to fog up my lenses. All right, so thank you guys for hanging out. It was fun making constructive fire that might save your life someday, the knowledge of fire that might save your life someday, the knowledge of how to make your offer to the market that could save your life every day is also essential. Be sure to check out getautonomy.info/ignite. We are enrolling students right now for season 7. If you guys want to learn how to survive and thrive in the world by learning tried and true methods, principles, tactics, and strategies that will work in any market, including this market that's on a downturn, know how to make your offer to the market and know how to make yourself indispensable either to yourself in your own endeavors through entrepreneurism or to someone else and be a valued and essential employee in their establishment. Thank you guys for tuning in and not dropping out. Here's a clip from last week's Grand Theft World to play us out. I'll see you next week. Peace.
What's happening in Austria and Australia? But in Austria, first off, it's one of the most beautiful countries in Europe.
Yeah.
It's very Americanized. You could go to Vienna and you could think you're in Cleveland or Chicago, all American restaurant, a whole bunch, right? You could go to TGI Fridays in Vienna. I'm pretty sure that's a restaurant we went to one time in Vienna. So it's been 20 years. I'm sure it's changed, but those people, they speak very good English. They're very well educated. They're like the second generation after World War II. Somebody else came in and started jackbooting in their country once upon a time. And similar things are happening again. And the people in the past who like defeated the Nazis, when you do your homework, you find out those people funded the Nazis. They've been in control ever since. And what they're doing is like there's no authority above them to call and be like, hey, these guys are the Nazis again, right? Because we have a lot of learning to do as individuals to get out of that that groupthink of what happened in Nazi Germany and to think that those people were evil and that's why that happened. No, they were subject to psychological warfare and propaganda, just like everybody else on the planet now is. It was a test bed for what they did to the rest of the world.
It's true, but I mean, there's an unfortunate statistic I saw once a long time ago. Austria was open arms to Hitler and Nazi Germany. They were all for it. It was like a 98%. It was some high.
Well, according to the people who counted the votes at the time, right? I care not how you vote. I care who counts the votes. Isn't that a saying?
I mean, it's an interesting. I don't know. I think they were much more open. There were people that were against the Nazis coming in, but they sort of saw themselves as part.
Well, I think they also went through separation anxieties because of Paris 1919 and war, reparations, and these sort of things.
You
and
got it.
At that time, when Hitler rose to power, it seemed advantageous for unity between those two neighbors.
You got it. Yeah, and so you can see how they're so accepting of tyranny back then. I'm not surprised a couple of generations removed that they're accepting of tyranny now. I hate to say it. Very nice. My father went to Austria many times when I was a kid, and he'd come back and just tell me glowing stories about the people, just much like what you said. Very clean, very well educated. They speak good English. He didn't have people. It was one of his favorite places in Europe to visit.
I'll tell you a specific memory. Walking down the streets of Salzburg, Austria, it's like 11 o'clock at night. I'm walking to meet some friends at a pub, right? Friends from America that I haven't seen in years. I'm walking down the street and I hear John Denver songs being sung in the streets of Salzburg, Austria, because there's so many Americans in the bar. I didn't know that. So I thought Austrian people like John Denver. I walk in, I'm like, how are all these people? And they're like, oh, they're all Americans. And that was one of the first experiences. So yeah, you also have to get off the beaten tourist trap path. But
I had that experience in Italy. Some of the
they speak a lot of English in Italy as well.
Oh, some of the piazzas, this like sort of centering, this outdoor sort of centers, whatever. They'd have all those musicians go around and where all the tourists are out playing like Pink Floyd and shit.
Oh, speaking of Italy, they got that Saturnalian cult going on over there occasionally, sometimes in their history.
Yeah, they sure did.
Hold on. While that page is loading.
An implantable radio frequency.
Can I just tell you about this implantable radio frequency chip book from 20 years ago, 10 years, 15 years ago? Come on, let's go there. Because VeriChip is in here, I'm pretty sure. Here's spy chips, how major corporations and government plan to track your every move with RFID. Wait for it. Let's see when this is.
You showed this the other. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
2005. Yeah. 2005. Almost 20 years ago. We're heading into 2022. And let me look up VeriChip in here real quick while LD is V for VeriChip. VeriChip. Oh, dude. Here, hold on, everybody. Shit, hold on. It's only pages 179 through 186, 191 to 192, 200, 236, 257, 261 of this book. So I'm sure, that plan. Oh, is that the social credit score system I see in place here on this? Oh, my goodness. Have these people been working on this a long time? Did they twist their mustaches? I don't know. A lot of the people doing this didn't have mustaches. But I'm just saying, this has been going on. And when I heard the word VeriChip, I knew where that book was right there. I didn't even know.
Yeah, you had it on the record a couple of weeks ago. That's very serendipitous that, it all sort of comes full circle. That's crazy. Because you did a deep dive in that a couple weeks ago, and now they just approved it. And I thought I remembered hearing that's great that you pulled that out, because this is crazy.
Ahead of the curve.
That's crazy. So yeah, this is Richard Seelig, the company's vice president for medical applications. So the chip would be useful in patients who receive care from several doctors. Yeah, it's all about medical records and blah 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 blah. Sure, yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Blah blah
blah blah blah. We're just putting chips under your skin. Nothing to see here. It was crazy conspiracy theory 20 years ago when people tried to warn you of the pending technology creep, but now that creep is under your skin, and it has your vaccine passport, so you can go on vacation to a gulag near you. Like, they're turning the whole planet into the gulag. I don't know why people don't get that.
Yeah, that's at this point, regardless of, like I said, the metaphysics of the virus or what people,
they might have special camps for people who don't participate, but everybody who does participate, that's the gulag too. It's an electronic gulag they got you in. That's how they're getting you all to do the irrational stuff that we observe you doing right now. Yeah. So, c'est la vie. We practically have a 0% risk of dying from COVID. But every one of us has 100% risk of living under increased tyranny. And I think that's what we should focus on, because this other thing seems to have like died out. Like, their reason for tyranny has died out, but the tyranny is escalating. And that's what we should pay attention to. The more you know.
All right, so let's pack up. That was fun. I'll put this back in the lid on the bottom. Let's stick the whole thing inside.
And one of the things that stuck out to me was when you asked us, how much of our potential are we using?
We got a chance to really kind of hit on some things that, I think were vulnerabilities, and exchange that and really kind of, I think, build a level of trust already that I think is really going to make a difference.
I see the potential increasing. The students seem like we're using our potential more, we're understanding it more, and so we're able to rise up and to be better at what we're doing.
It really took me by surprise how good it was. Like, your brain really firing. Like you're like playing this intellectual tennis. Like the ball is in my court, now I'm gonna return it onto your court and waiting for your response. So I think it's really amazing. I was really surprised.
I went into the breakout room and saying, what skill do I have? And when I left, I could write down 9 different skills. I thought I didn't have any skills.
The exercises really can come in and help us up our communication skills, definitely.
For someone like me who maybe has some skills that I can put together, I'm seeing now more that maybe, okay, I will be able to develop something here and maybe be a part of the voice. So it's all good.
I feel like I was chosen. They're giving me the opportunity to be here, and I'm happy to be here. That's all I can say. I'm just happy to be part of the group that has so much resources and willing to help so much with so many things that is unbelievable. I'm just happy to be here to be part.
Thank you for everyone who is in understanding their potential and upping their game, because I see it. I see it with what you guys are starting to do for me. So thank you.
Have you found that your skills aren't matching up with the challenges ahead? Here are 19 essential skills for success that school never taught you. Get your free copy by following the link below or visit getautonomy.info/19skills.